Hey everyone, today's trading recap for April 23rd, 2021 is an interesting one. I took two losers on Boeing puts and Tesla puts and did a revenge play on Tesla, which with a decent amount size of put contracts. But let's go over the Boeing puts here. I was looking at the daily chart and I like the look of it. If you remember, I drew this trend line last week and saw that it was consolidating right below the 50 moving average. Let's go to the 1 minute and clean this chart up. So what I didn't like was it was consolidating between the moving averages, but I really wanted this to break down on this trend line here. Had to go through some support levels for me to add onto my positions because I really wanted this to do a double bottom and bounce right back up and take my profits down here, but it did not. So right when it broke through this trend line, it came down and I entered in at this candle here because it broke through there, and I really wanted to see some selling pressure, and right when I saw that selling pressure came in, I entered. So that's why I entered in at this candle rather than this one. Right when I entered, the buyers pushed it up and I held through this one because I figured that there was a lot of resistance here. It might come back down, which it did, but it made a double bottom here, and that's actually when I should have just probably got out at the break of that double bottom candle. Held through this one, and I wanted to set my stop loss right above that high, the previous high, and I got taken out at this candle with $160 loss with 5 contracts, so it wasn't as bad. Luckily I got out, came down, bounced right back up because it did do a flag here. So my next trade was on Tesla puts. I lost about I believe $700 or something with 5 contracts. I'll have to do the recording, but reason why I got into puts, this one was pretty risky. So I saw this trend line. Most of the time I don't like to play puts on this trend line when it's this high. That's a, let's see, 51 degrees. So I want to play trend lines that are about here or down here, because right here I feel like it's a bit overextended. So luckily I did not get into puts right there. What I did do was I adjusted this trend line, since trend lines you really have to kind of adjust them as the market goes. So I adjusted it to this level here, saw that it double topped and started fading it out. So that's when I decided to enter in at this candle. I saw the double top and I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna start fading out. So I alerted it in the Discord for a high risk play, so a lotto play, and I kept adding on to my positions as it broke through support levels, and I kept bouncing, and I had this line. Let me clean this one up. Let's see here, and I had this trend line drawn. So as it kept popping up, I kept adjusting this trend line, and right when I broke through this trend line, I exited for a $700 loss right at this candle. So that did not go very well. So now I'm down a little over $800. So this one I actually should have taken profits down here because I didn't realize I was actually eyeing the 15 minutes as well too. If you look at the 15 minutes, let me clean up this chart. If you look at the 15 minutes, here's where I should have gotten out at the lows right there, which was the 100 moving average support. Sellers, there's no more sellers right there, and right on the next 15-minute candle, buyers just pushed it right up. So that's when I should have exited my position at the break of this high, which was that previous 15-minute candle's high. So after taking that loser, I really wanted to do an instant revenge play, but I had to be smart about it because if I didn't want to lose any more money, I really had to play the patient game and follow my strategy. Otherwise, I'm just going to be taking a big loss for the day. So what I did was, after taking the loser on this spike, I waited and waited to adjust my trend line. Eventually, I found another trend here, and right when I saw it broke through this trend, I figured that buyers were dying out, just because there's a lot of red candles here. And I'm thinking, all right, so buyers are stepping out, sellers might come in now. See a lot of consolidation here, a spike, which this trend line became resistance. And I actually got in, I believe, around this level with 5 contracts, and eventually added more to 15 contracts. Right when it broke through this level, I'm like, all right, we're set. We have 2 big red candle moves, and I took about a little over $1,300 in wins, and I just called it a day after that one, just because I was already up now, $508, I believe. So reason why I got out here at this bottom was I was actually watching the contract price. You can see that this is where I kind of entered in, and I figured there was resistance right here. So there was this resistance, and there was that resistance right there. So I sold all my contracts at $3.60. So that was a pretty good win for me, and called it a day there. Even though it did go higher, I just didn't want to take any more losers and secured all my profits that I had. Alright, so here's my first live trade on Boeing puts. Just waiting for an entry right below one of the previous candles. Right when I see all these sellers, watch the sellers on the time and sales, that's when I decided to, alright, let me enter. Seems like there's selling pressure. 5 contracts in. At this point, I was fairly confident it was going to come down, but it just didn't work out the way that I wanted to. Fast forward, and then here it just, I was like, okay, well, maybe I should start exiting, because the Boeing is not moving as fast as I wanted to, but I still held on because I did not want to be wrong, and that's not a good thing. And I was debating on adding more right here. And watch me cancel this add order for another 5 contracts right when I see it pop up. Yeah, I did not like the amount of buyers that came in at that candle, so I canceled the extra 5 contracts. And then boom, right there on that candle, I'm out $160. Tesla trade took a little bit longer, so I'm just gonna fast forward through. I put in a starter for 1 contract, waiting for a fill, and it pops up, and I'll get a fill right there. Pops up, and I'm looking to fade this one out. This one was showing a double top, trading right, hugging along the 20 moving average. I'm looking to fade this one out. Hovering right on the trend line that I drew, breaks right below it, and I'm looking for more downward movement. Trying to look on the other time frames here just to see how far it will go, what candles are forming on the 5-minute and the 15-minute. Alright, so right when it broke through that trend line, I was debating on adding, but wanted to give it a little bit more time, just because during this trading time, I noticed Tesla tends to just kind of whip back and forth and then fade down slowly. So that's what I was looking to do. So far I'm in the green, and it does pop back up for a little bit, and I'm wondering, okay, maybe should I exit for a small win? but it is trading right below the 20 moving average, and I'm expecting a bearish crossover on the 50 moving average. So I'm just trying to sit on my hands and let this trade play it out. I'm also trying to identify other trend lines at this point and see what form of resistance there are. You can see that I will eventually draw this trend line here. Find that it did pop up, use that as a resistance, and hopefully it comes back down. And this is what I was looking for. I was looking for just lower lows coming down here and trading right below the VWAP. Comes down, and here's where I added 3 more positions, so 4 contracts in total. Now trading right above the, or sorry, right below the 50 moving average, so that's a good sign for me. Next one has to go below the 100 moving average and then the VWAP, and then I would see it moving further down. What I didn't like was the candle that was forming on the daily. It showed a lot of bullish movement, so I was kind of hesitating there, and that's where I wanted to kind of see if Tesla could break that level. So far in the green, expecting Tesla to make more of a bigger move here. And maybe this is where I should have took my profits, because most of the time, as I always say in most of my videos, that I like to take profits on the first level of resistance that I see. Does pop up right above the trend line, and I'm panicking just a little bit here. So if I sold, I'd be down probably almost 400 bucks. Held it, adjusted my trend line. Still waiting for the 20 moving average to cross over to the 50 moving average, this blue line here. And I figured that it would slowly fade down, so I was expecting these pops. And here is where I'm hoping it breaks that low, which is that 15-minute right there on the right side. Holds it as a level of support, and I'm still looking for it to break down. And I should have taken my profits here. Now is where it starts reversing on me. And I'm seeing that, hey, the 20 moving average is almost crossing over to the 50. Let's hold a little bit longer, see where it goes. Maybe it'll come back down. And here's where I am about to get stopped out, because Tesla has a massive push up, and I just got out on the spike. Right there. That's where I got stopped out for about $700 loss. So in total, I'm already red about over $800 for the day. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe this is the double top, and I really wanted to enter into some put contracts. Really didn't want to take any more trades, so I wanted to play it safe and be smart about my revenge play. So I waited out, and I'll see the next trend, and if it does, I'll just keep an eye on it. Alright, this is my Tesla revenge play to the downside. I'm about to enter in 5 contracts here. Got my order in, 5 contracts. Waiting for this one to drop, and if not, I'll add. Has a push up. I'm in the red again. I'm like, okay, well, it looks like it's trading below the 50 now, but my strategy requires the 20 moving average to be below the 50 moving average. And I would like to go buy more puts. Added more 5 contracts, so 10 contracts in total now. And right when it popped up, I did panic a little bit. Bought some more. 15 contracts in total, so this was my revenge play. Trying to look at the 5-minute and see where we go. Really wanted this to stay under the 50 moving average. And then eventually it does have a quick pop up right here. And that's when I got scared and okay, maybe I should exit or use this trend line as resistance. And if it pops over that trend line, I might look to exit for another loss and then just call it a day. But eventually I held. Still holding. Really wanted to add 5 more contracts, so total in 20 in total, but I just didn't want to risk it. And there we go. Saw some selling pressure. I'm like, okay, I think we're in the clear now. Right when it breaks to this level, I'll draw a trend line there. There. So on the 5-minute, you can see that there's support, and I want this to fall through. And depending on how fast it falls through, I'll go ahead and exit my position. But you'll see that I look at the options chart just to see where I could sell. Waiting for it to come down, using that as another resistance. And here's where it's about to come down. And here's where I'm looking to take my profits and sell my contracts. So I decided to do $3.60 per contract at the resistance level there. So I'm just trying to be patient about it. Luckily, the next candle does have a push down over 1,000. There we go. Got a fill, $1,393. Alright guys, so that wraps up today's trading session. I was expecting the market to move lower due to the news that came out regarding the hike in capital gains tax yesterday, and also Tesla having earnings next week and being Friday. I thought it would come down. Eventually it did come down, but I called it after taking that almost $1,400 win and decided to not take any more trades. So if you guys like the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment. Go ahead and feel free to let me know what your strategies are. I'd love to learn more. And I'll see you guys next Monday. Thanks.